Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019 meeting of the Mount Pleasant Zoning Board of Appeals is now called to order. Mr. Kinch, would you please take the roll?
Asman? Orlick?
Here.
Stressman?
Here.
White? Friedrich?
Here.
And Raisman.
Here.
We have a quorum.
The very first item of business is the Zoning Board of Appeals would like to wish our recording secretary, Becky, and her husband, Butch, a very happy anniversary. Now, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Does anyone have changes that they would like to make? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we have approved the agenda. The next item of business is the approval of the minutes from our August 28th, 2019 meeting. Are there any changes that anyone would like to make to the minutes of our previous meeting? Hearing no changes, do I have a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor of accepting the minutes, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved as submitted. Mr. Kinch, are there any communications to report that are not related to our cases tonight?
Don't have anything to report at this time.
Okay, public comments. This is the time during the hearing where the floor is opened up to anyone who wishes to come forward and speak. We typically reserve this time for comments not related to a case being presented this evening. Since we have no one in the audience who is not here for a case tonight, the public hearings portion of our meeting is now closed. In accordance with our established bylaws and board procedures, the appellant will be called forward to state their case. Following the appellant's presentation, the public hearing will then be opened. Anyone who wishes to address the board will come forward, sign in, and state their name and address, which will be made part of our permanent record. Each person will be allowed to speak for 5 minutes. In addition, each person will be allowed to address the board only once unless they have new and pertinent information to share. The public hearing will then be closed. Any correspondence received regarding the case will be presented to the board. The board will then enter into discussion. All motions will be made in the positive to avoid confusion. This does not necessarily mean that the person making the motion is in favor of the request. It will take 3 positive votes to approve a request. Any request which is denied shall not be brought back to the board for a period of 1 year. The board reserves the right to ask questions of the appellant at any point throughout the hearing. Mr. Kinch, will you introduce our case tonight?
Thank you. Our first case tonight we've identified as case number 3-2019. This is a request that's been filed by Justin and Roxine Fleer, who reside at 416 South Fancher Street. They are looking for a variance under section 154.405A, which is the district standards for lot occupation, for the purposes of reconstructing a driveway on this property as well as work on the adjoining property at 420 South Fancher. Both these properties currently share a common driveway. The district standards limit the amount of impervious surfaces, which is defined as the hard surface set up from buildings, asphalts, decks, and in the case of 416, in the addition of in-ground pools. Property is zoned CD3 as well as all adjoining properties. It is identified as future land use as residential in nature. The site plan that you have here gives us a sense of what we're looking at as far as the changes that are going to be made. The red represents the area that's made up of lot 416 South Fancher, and then the lot that is directly below that is 420. The yellow area is the area that they are looking to remove and reconstruct a driveway to address not only drainage issues, but some of the issues they're having with just general parking and blocking the access off of Fancher Street. As I noted in the report, there's no access onto the alley to provide alternative parking, so all access to both of these parcels is from the public street. In the example here, the existing entrance looks like it was updated a while back. There will be no changes there, but you do see there's changes on 420 that's made up of 140 square feet of additional area in the purple box for 420. And you got some changes where they're going to do restoration of some of the hard surfacing on 416 to kind of bring it closer to compliance without bringing it 100%. 416 South Fancher, where the Flares reside, is made up of 7,612 square feet of land area. Our district says they can cover up to 55% or 4,187 square feet. Currently, they're at about 60%, and with the updates, by reducing and restoring some of the lawn area, they'll be able to bring it to 57.5% lot coverage. Because we're affecting the adjoining property, we check that as well. Their lot area is 7,405 square feet. Permitted in the district is 4,072, representing 55%. They're currently at 39%, and with the increase of 140 square feet, throw a lot of numbers at you, they're at 40%. They would still be in compliance. So this is, yes?
What's the area of the pool? The dimensions of the swimming pool?
Just the pool itself, or including?
Yes, the actual pool itself.
It's,
It's like 32 by about 16. It's in a kidney shape, so.
So it's irregular then?
Yes.
So you don't know the actual square footage of the surface area of the water?
No, I do not.
Okay.
We do, it is have concrete patio area around it though.
But the actual pool itself
Yeah.
is 32 by 16. Okay.
Okay. So this is a shot of the both parcels. 416 is on your right, 420 is on the left. This is the access point off of Fancher Street looking west. You can see here that they are sharing a driveway. When we met with them early on, they talked about neighbors would receive parking. They come in, pulled in just off the sidewalk, and you blocked access for anybody else that's in that driveway. So here's what they're looking to do. Maintain the current access point between the right-of-way and the 140 square feet. Bear in mind that this 140 square feet, the topsoil, and will be removed along with this hard surface pavement that's shown here on the right. And then I understand that they're putting it back as concrete. And then here's what you have around the pool. But yeah, there is a different area, obviously, with the kidney-shaped pool that they have. But they have patios, they have the driveways, the building, and they get some remnants of some foundations off to the back of the house. And so the new concrete, as we talked about, they're experiencing both some runoff issues to both properties. This will allow them, by doing both of them at the same time, to be able to address some of those runoff issues that they're having, and hopefully they can direct it to the rear yard or back to the street where it can be picked up into the storm sewer. You can see the current condition of the pavement at this point. This is the back of the yard looking to the east, and you can see it gets congested, and there's no room back there currently to maneuver cars. So that's pretty much what I have for that. Any further questions for me?
Well, Brian, there's some indication in the case file here. The applicant has a little comment about this even flat surface to place a shed on. And I'm just wondering, and I'll probably get into this with them as well, is there going to be room for a shed without violating setbacks?
You're going to have, they can meet setbacks, but lot coverage is still going to be the issue, so it's something
Okay.
we're going to talk about tonight. So. The only other way would be putting a shed on maybe the patio or the hard surface that's already there.
Right.
So that may be an option for them.
So, were we to approve this, it does not in any way, shape, or form automatically approve a shed?
No, but there again, we can talk about total coverage if we allow them to do to 58% or something along that line. I think the key thing is we're making, like we've done in the past, reducing nonconformities. In this case, it's going to address their parking issues and also their runoff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to leave it up here on the site plan then. If we need to move that back and forth, we'll do that.
Mr. Musclear, you may come up and address the board.
Just one.
No.
You can both come. If you please both state your name and your address for the record.
Justin Fleer, 416 South Fancher Street.
Roxanne Fleer, also 416 South Fancher Street.
And if it's more comfortable, you can adjust the microphone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It doesn't come up.
There's a bit.
We can hear you.
Okay. So,
Sorry.
yeah, we got silence too. Yes, so as Brian was saying, well, where this kind of stemmed from was with your question with the shed. You know, that's where a lot of this stemmed from. We started that, and we realized we couldn't do anything for the shed to, without getting this variance. And as that progressed, we realized, well, if we're gonna do that, might as well go ahead and do the whole driveway, talk to the neighbors. Come to find out they're having issues along where the driveway is, along that side of the house, flooding. Pretty much every time it rains, water just comes in there. Yeah.
We didn't know we were going,
Yeah.
we are now,
We just moved in December, so,
so now we're at.
yeah. So
Not
we're-
as bad as that.
As in, I don't know, what else should I cover?
Well, the condition of the driveway, as you can see, it was at one point asphalt, and very large sections of it have torn away. I mean, even before we moved in, there's one spot in the middle where when it rains, it's a
Yes.
pond. So the condition of the driveway itself is not good, and it really is not flat at all, and which is causing the water to run off. But as Brian pointed out too, it would be just absolutely lovely to not have that shared entryway.
Yes.
Because for some reason, it doesn't seem to be, if people come by to visit, I mean, obviously we tell our friends and family, don't park in the street, but if someone stops by for whatever reason, and they don't know, it doesn't seem intuitive to them to not park right in the entryway. I don't know why, but at any rate, then the neighbors come home and they're like, can you please move your car? So we thought, I don't know why they didn't just make, why can't we just make it a little wider, and then we can both get in, and to answer your question about the shed, I do plan to put the shed on can we show the picture? On the part of the driveway that we're renewing, like, we're not gonna add any more concrete after that to put the shed. There's plenty of room.
You know, that one
There it
The
is,
right
right there.
picture. So I guess, well, I can't point, they can't see.
Just use
The part where the word says repair in the yellow where that picture, I'm not exactly there, but
Right,
the end,
yeah,
thank you.
right
thank
in
you, thank you,
here.
Thank you, yes, right at the end of the concrete.
Is where we're gonna end up putting the shed, because we'll have,
Because we'll still have
We'll
plenty
still
of
have plenty of room
to park.
back over
We'll have
here to be able to
3
park.
cars can park on our side,
Yeah.
So that would go on the new concrete that you're laying there?
Yes, yes.
So in terms of the impervious surface, whether the shed is there or not, doesn't make any difference in those counts?
not really.
Right, exactly.
I think that's about it, if you guys have any
I
other
don't
questions.
know, unless you have any other questions.
Does anyone on the board have questions for the applicant?
Pete's question was my question.
Your neighbor's in agreement with what you want to do as far as a shared driveway?
I'm glad you asked that. Yes, in fact, it's a rental property, but I was able to get a hold of the owner who lives in Washington State, and we've talked and we've been emailing, and she's 100% on board. She's ecstatic, actually, because she knows the condition she knows all the issues too, so she thinks it's a great idea. So we've already worked that out amongst ourselves, how we're gonna handle that part of it, so. And she said if you need her to write a letter or something, she'd be happy to. I just wasn't sure if we needed that, so.
And your concrete work is going to be professionally done, or are you doing it
Yes.
yourself?
Oh, I'm not doing it myself. We have a bid.
No, people do that.
Oh.
That's fine.
Like-
No, we
Well,
have
it'll be
a bid
professionally
from,
done.
Jason Faust.
Faust Heating and Cooling. He's more known for that, but he has also like a crew that does this too. So.
Yes. So they'll be licensed, they'll know, they've worked with Brian before, he's
Oh yeah, right.
aware of
That's right.
a lot of the stipulations and having to get the storm runoff permits. And, I think that's about it for those things that I know of. So, yeah.
Does anyone else have questions for the applicant? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Having no other questions from the board, we are now opening the public hearing. If there is anyone who wishes to speak on this case, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. There is no one here to speak. Mr. Kinch, do you have any correspondence to share?
I provided you a memo for the file tonight from our Department of Public Works. Initially, we sent out a plan that generated a number of questions for the director. Since the initial one that went out, we revised it to this one to include the area in the purple box, 140 square feet there, and to identify the area that would be restored to help bring this closer to compliance. And he was able to sign off on it, so you see his signature off to the left. The engineering department just want to advise the applicant that they will need stormwater permits and so on, and I think they're well aware of that as you discussed this evening, so that's all I have.
I